Have you ever heard someone say, I like selling options because I collect theta, and then just nodded along and pretended to understand what was going on? If so, then this video's for you. Because in this video, I'm going to teach you what theta is and really make it simple. You'll understand exactly what it means, where it comes from, how to read it, and how to properly use it if you want to be an option seller. And I'm also going to show you why this idea of collecting theta as free money is just not true, and how to really think about it properly when you're designing your strategies. All right, so theta is a option Greek. If you haven't seen my introduction video where I go over all the Greeks at a surface level, maybe start there. I'll link it in the description of this video and then come back to this one because you need to understand what a Greek is first. So theta is an option Greek that tells us how much value an option is losing because of the passage of time. Remember, options have an expiration date. Let's say it expires tomorrow. Well, if nothing happens, then that option is going to be worthless in the next 24 hours. That decay, that time-passing decay, is what we refer to as theta. Every day that ticks by, the option becomes a little bit less and less valuable. And the rate of that decay is the theta exposure of our position. So at a fundamental level, here's the important thing. If you are buying options, then theta is working against you. And if you are selling options, then theta is working for you. And as an option seller, when you sell these options, you are going to get paid a little bit every single day that you have the position on, assuming that nothing big happens. For example, let's say you sell a $10 call option on Apple that expires in 30 days. You're short this position now, and let's say nothing really happens. The volatility is lower than expected, and the stock hasn't really moved. What is going to happen to your position? What will happen is that the value of the option will start to drop, simply because there is now less time to expiration. Or, on the flip side, time has been passing. Let's say the call option that you sold has a theta value of negative 0.5. This would mean that for every day that passes, your option contract is going to decrease in value by 50 cents. So on day 0, the option was worth $10. Then on day 1, when one day passed, it's now worth $9.50. Day 2 is worth $9. Day 3 it's $8.50, and so on and so forth. Eventually, if nothing happens and the option expires out of the money, it's going to decay all the way down to 0. And that is theta in action. Now, one way you can think about theta is that theta drops as time gets shorter because the likelihood of there being significant moves or the option expiring in the money is decreasing since there's now just less time for things to change. For example, let's say you have 30 days left to expiration. There's lots of time for anything to happen, really. So your theta decay will be relatively slow. But let's say that there's 1 day left to expiration. Well, that window of opportunity is pretty small now, seeing as it expires tomorrow. And so you'll have really high theta decay. In fact, 100% theta decay if nothing happens in the next 24 hours. So you can kind of think of theta as like uncertainty disappearing over time. As the option decays, there's less chance of there being a move and it expiring in the money, and the theta represents that decay. But now here's something that's really important to remember. Everything I've said so far kind of makes theta sound like free money, and it is seriously not free money. The reason it's not free is because the only reason that somebody is paying you theta when you sell an option is because you are giving them exposure to gamma, which is another Greek that we cover in another video. But for the purposes of understanding theta, there is one saying that I really love, which I want to share with you now, which is that one man's theta is another man's gamma. Let me explain. When you buy an option, what are you really trying to buy? You are buying either a hedge for your portfolio, or you are buying exposure to like an outsized return if a certain move happens. You're basically trying to buy access to this convexity, right? This exponential return that is possible with options. Gamma basically reflects that exponential potential, but nobody's going to give you that for free. And that's why you're paying theta. Theta is kind of like the rent for access to that gamma. So when you're short an option, sure, you're short the gamma, but you're going to be long the theta. You're going to be getting paid that premium in exchange for giving someone access to that potential. The reason this is important to understand is because theta and gamma are actually inverses of each other. If you have a position that has a lot of gamma, guess what else you're going to have a lot of? Theta. If there's a lot of theta in a position, guess what you're also going to have a lot of? You're going to have a lot of gamma. So there's really no free lunch. When you have a lot of theta exposure as an option seller, if you say that theta is the reason you're getting paid, that's not really correct. Gamma is actually the reason you're getting paid, and theta is the payment. Now, another thing that you should understand about theta is that it's not a constant value. It doesn't stay the same over the lifetime of your option. In fact, theta accelerates as you approach expiration. Let's give you a really clear example. Let's say you're trading an option with 100 days to expiration. If 1 day passes, there's now 99 days remaining. There's still a lot of time value left in that option you traded. On the flip side, let's say you're trading an option that expires today at the end of the day. It's a 0 DTE. Well, at the end of today, if that option doesn't go in the money, it's literally worthless, meaning the theta decay would be 100% of the value of the option, right? On one extreme, 100 days out, it's maybe 1% decay. And on the other extreme, when it's 0 DTE, it's literally 100% decay. So to sum it up, basically, the less time between now and expiration, there's just less time for big moves to happen, meaning the decay is faster. We are approaching expiration. And a lot of times, this is why people like selling shorter dated options, such as weeklies or 0 DTEs. It's because that theta decay is quicker. There's a quicker feedback loop between, hey, I placed this trade. Did the stock move or not? And do I get my premium or not? But you got to remember, when you're trading these shorter dated options, sure, you're going to get that theta faster, right? 100% decay is going to happen a lot quicker than with a monthly option, but you're also carrying a lot more gamma risk. So you're going to get a quicker return, potentially higher returns too, but it will come with bigger drawdowns and bigger changes in option value when big moves happen in the underlying stock. Now, when you look at an option chain, you are actually going to see your theta values listed on the option chain. And if you don't, you can actually add a column called theta that will show you the theta value for each contract on the chain. And let's say, for example, you were looking at like a 100 strike call option that expires in 30 days. You might see a theta value of negative 0.05. What does this mean? Well, it means that at this current moment, for each day that the option is existing, it is going to decay by 5 cents in value or $5 in P&L, right? Remember, each contract represents 100 shares. So you take the 0.05, you multiply it by 100, that equals 5. That is the actual change in P&L that you will see. So if that contract was trading at $4 for the contract today, tomorrow, assuming everything else is held neutral, it would be trading at $3.95. So if we're talking practically here, this is the big takeaway. If you're selling options, yes, you are collecting theta. And you should kind of think of it as the rent you are receiving for giving someone access to gamma. So yes, collecting theta is a foundational component to option selling, but it's not the reason we get paid. The reason we're getting paid is for finding areas where the implied volatility is higher than the realized volatility, or to speak in terms of our Greeks, where our theta gains outweigh our gamma losses. So if you've made it this far in the video, you've probably seen a few of our others, and at this point, you've probably got a good idea of how options work and why option selling is a pretty good thing to include in your portfolio. If that is you, click the link in the description and take a 7-day free trial with us. If you join Predicting Alpha, you get access to our 5 data-driven, systematic ways to make money selling options and a platform that is going to help you find the best trades for each strategy. The platform is priced that anyone who's serious about option selling can easily overcome the monthly subscription. And as a bonus, you get access to a private community of our members who work together to find edges, stuff that goes beyond what you can just read in a textbook and can really be the difference between a good year and an amazing year. And then of course you get access to me. I'm awesome. I can teach you some cool stuff and I'm there to answer any of your questions. So when you're ready, click the link in the description and come give it a shot. I promise you will not be disappointed. All right, let's wrap up this video with another recap. Theta is the time decay of your option. You collect it if you sell options, and you pay it if you buy options. Theta is the inverse of gamma, meaning that one man's theta is another man's gamma, and that's why there's no free money. When you are collecting theta, it's because you are giving someone access to gamma. So it's not the reason you get paid, but it is the actual payment you receive. Structure strategies where you believe that the gamma losses are going to be far outweighed by the theta gains, and you will be off to the races as an option seller. All right, everyone, make sure to subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy trading, everyone.